Good morning, students. I feel very happy to welcome you all in this first chemistry session. Actually, not like last year, this year you will be learning science as three different disciplines: physics, chemistry and biology. Right. So, I would be handling chemistry for you, and let me introduce myself. I am Mrs.Nagajothi. I am going to handle chemistry for you. Right. Let us start the session. The name of the topic what we are going to see is synthetic fibers and plastics. We are very familiar with this word plastics, isn't it? Right. In our day-to-day life, we are using it for many purposes, the plastic materials. Right. You can look at this picture. What do you see in this picture? It's a picture which shows a textile shop. So, in the textile shop, we could see many different kind of garments. One garment will be made up of cotton, another one will be made up of wool, another one will be made up of silk, etc. Right. Where these garments are coming from then? From the different type of cloth materials called fabrics. So, these fabrics are used to make different kinds of garments. Right. These fabrics are made from the fundamental unit of textiles called fibers. What do you mean by fibers? Let us see the meaning. Fibers are thread-like material obtained from plants and animals which are used to manufacture many different items. So, fibers are nothing but what? Thread-like material which are obtained from plants and animals. And of course, we can make it in the laboratory also. Synthetically also we can prepare fibers. So, when these fibers are woven or knitted, this is a weaving process. So, when the yarns of the fibers, when woven or else knitted, we get the garments, isn't it? Right. Now, let us see the concept about the fibers one more time. Fibers are the basic units of all the textiles. What do you mean by fibers? Fibers are basic units of all the textiles. Fibers are put together to form a continuous strand called yarn. And when yarns are woven or knitted together to make the fabrics. Now, let us see the classification of fibers. So, how do we classify the fibers? Fibers are broadly classified into two types. This is nothing but classification of fibers. So, we can classify the fibers into two major types: natural fibers and synthetic fibers. What do you mean by natural fibers and what do you mean by synthetic fibers? From the name itself we can understand natural. What do you mean by natural? Something which we get from nature, something which we get from the living sources, something which we get from plants or animals, that is called natural. So, natural fibers means the fibers which are made from nature. Right. What do you mean by synthetic fibers? Synthetic fibers means synthetic. Synthetic means artificial. Artificial. What do you mean by artificial? Something which is not natural. Something which we don't get from nature. Something which we prepare on our own by using chemicals. Right. Now, we will see about natural fibers. What do you mean by natural fibers again? Fibers which are obtained from plants and animals are called natural fibers. Let us see some examples for natural fibers. What are they? Cotton, wool, jute and silk. Cotton. Cotton is a natural fiber which is obtained from cotton plant. You know, isn't it? Cotton plant. From that we get that cotton, and that cotton will be further processed to make the garments and even the swabs and other things. Isn't it? Right. And natural fiber, jute. Jute is again a natural fiber which we get from jute plant. And it is subjected to further processes. Then we get very useful materials like jute bags and other things. Next, natural fiber wool. Where do we get this wool? We get this wool from sheep, isn't it? The sheep are being sheared off to get bales of wool, and these bales of wool will be further processed to get very useful materials like sweaters, jumpers, socks, like that, scarves. We get many useful materials. Then natural fiber, silk. We are very fond of silk, isn't it? The texture, the color, the shining, everything. Right. So, how do we get silk? We get silk from the silkworm. Of course, it is a very lengthy process, very tedious process, namely in the manufacture of silk. That's why it makes it very costly. Now we will see about synthetic fibers. What do you mean by synthetic fibers? Just now we saw something which is man-made, something which is made artificially, which is not natural, right? So man-made fibers that are obtained from petrochemicals. How do we get synthetic fibers? We get synthetic fibers from petrochemicals. What do you mean by petrochemicals? Coal, petroleum and natural gas. What do you mean by petrochemicals? Coal, petroleum and natural gas. Right. All these we will get from, namely from the fractional distillation of the crude oil. So that's the source. From the oil wells we get the crude oil. From that crude oil we will do fractional distillation process to separate many useful products. All those products will be called as petrochemicals, which we obtained from the crude oil. Right. So like from that coal, petroleum and natural gas, we can manufacture synthetic fibers by using chemicals. Right. Let us see some examples for natural synthetic fibers. Nylon, rayon, acrylic, polyester, etc. So first we are going to see about nylon. Before that, we will see the structure of synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers are polymers. When we look into that structure of synthetic fibers, they will be having units joined together as a chain. Let me say one example for you. See, I am taking beads. Now, I am going to make a chain by using these beads. So, when I form a chain by using these beads, a continuous chain like this we can imagine for fibers also. How the single beads joined together in a continuous chain to form an ornament. Like the same, in fibers, we have single units called monomers. When it is joined together to form a chain, then it is called as a polymer. So what do you mean by monomer? What do you mean by polymer? Monomer means, actually this comes from two Greek words, mono and mer. What do you mean by mono? Mono means one. Mer means what? Unit. So only one unit, if it is present, we used to call it as monomer. When these monomers, single units, are joined together as a chain, then it is called as a polymer. So fibers are nothing but polymers. So monomer means single unit. When it is joined as a chain, then we get a polymer. Fibers are polymers. So a polymer is a large molecule made up of chains of repeating. What do you mean by repeating? Again and again, like similar units are joined together. It gets repeated. So the basic molecular units called monomers. Right. We can imagine this in a better way by seeing this picture. You will be well familiar with this building blocks, isn't it? So you can imagine each unit is nothing but monomer. So how many monomers we have here? 3 monomers. 1, 2, 3. 3 monomers we have. When these monomers are continuously joined, repeated as a chain, when they join together, we get a polymer. So this is nothing but a polymer which consists of how many monomers? 3 monomers. Right. Let us look at the last one. Here also we have a polymer because monomers are joined together as a chain. Fine. So this is a polymer which consists of 5 monomers. How many monomers? 5 monomers. So 5 monomers joined together to form this polymer. So it's a polymer consists of 5 units. So when it comes for fiber, we can say that single molecule, it's a single molecule called monomer. When it forms a chain, it is called as a polymer. Now, the process of making polymers from monomers is known as polymerization. What do you mean by polymerization? Polymerization is nothing but the process of joining together monomers to form a continuous chain, namely polymer. This process is called polymerization, making polymers. Right. Now, we are going to see about the characteristics, preparation and uses of 2 synthetic fibers. First, we will start with nylon. Nylon. We are well familiar with the synthetic fiber. Where do you see? See, many places we would have seen this without recognizing that it is nylon. Ropes which we use for namely drying the clothes at home, and then the suitcases and many things which are made up of nylon. Now let us see the preparation and when it was prepared, nylon. Actually, nylon was the first true synthetic fiber which was manufactured at namely a laboratory called DuPont, which is present in namely America. Right. So this is the first true synthetic fiber. What do you mean by first true synthetic fiber? See, before that, namely in the 19th century, before the manufacturing of nylon, we get the fibers only from the natural source, namely from cotton plant or jute or from the sheep, like that. But in the 19th century, especially at the time of Second World War, the people have a very great thought of preparing fibers in the laboratory. So nylon was the first fiber which was synthesized at the first time. So we can call nylon as the first true synthetic fiber which is prepared in the laboratory purely using only chemicals. Right. It was done by actually a scientist called Carruthers. What do you mean by namely this? The name of the scientist. The name of the scientist is Carruthers, who has actually produced this synthetic fiber in the laboratory. As I already told you, it was done in the laboratory called DuPont, which is at America. Fine. So this nylon actually it is manufactured from coal, water and air. It was manufactured from coal, water and air. Right. Why this name comes as nylon? Is there any meaning for that word nylon? Yes, of course. See, this nylon we can split into two. What do you mean by nylon? NY and LON. That NY stands for New York. And LON stands for London. So, actually this process of production of nylon was happened simultaneously in these two places, namely at New York and London. So they have given the name as nylon. NY stands for New York and LON stands for London. Fine. So, and one more information about nylon. Nylon is a polyamide. As we see now, synthetic fibers are polymers. So, nylon is also a polymer which is made up of monomer units. That monomer unit is nothing but amide. So, amide is the monomer unit. When it is joined together, we get what? Polymer called polyamide. That's it. Now, let us see the properties of nylon. Yes. What are the basic properties of nylon? Nylon is lightweight. It will not weight namely heavy. It will be lightweight and then durable and very lustrous. What do you mean by durable? We can use it for a long period of time. That is what meant by durable. Very lustrous. What is lustrous? See, lustre means shine. Lustre means what? That shining nature. Fine. So, lustrous means that shining property. Even when you look at the namely rope which is used for drying the cloths at home, you could see that shining property, isn't it? It will be shining. It will have that luster. Fine. Next, elastic. It's a very important word. Elastic. What do you mean by elastic? Elastic means some materials which are able to resume its normal shape. Resume its normal shape after being stretched. After being stretched or compressed. Fine. We can say this with the help of an example. See, you can imagine that you are having a thread, one end you are having it, you are holding it, you are asking your friend or somebody else to hold the other end. So, both of you are stretching the thread at both the ends. What will happen? It will break, isn't it? Obviously, fine. But nylon will not break up. So, it will resume. What do you mean by resume? It will regain its original shape even after being stretched or compressed. Stretched means what? Pulling it towards namely the opposite edges like that. So, nylon will be elastic. So, it will resume its shape even after being compressed or stretched. And then tensile strength. What do you mean by tensile strength? When we stretch a material, if it breaks, then we can call it as it has less tensile strength. But nylon has high tensile strength. So, when we stretch it for a namely long distance also, it will not break up. Okay. So, it is elastic and it has high tensile strength. And then wear resistant. What do you mean by wear resistant? Wear resistance also we can say we can use it for very long time. Over a long period of time we can use it. That is what wear resistant. And retains its strength even after repeated use. Even after repeated use also it will be namely what how you had it at the first time. Fine. It is easy to wash and dries quickly. This is another important property. Easy to wash and dries quickly because it will not absorb water to a very high extent. It will not absorb. So when it is soaked in water also, when you take it out, all the water molecules will come out. So you can dry it very quickly. So easy to wash and dries quickly. Right. Now let us look at the uses of nylon. Nylon, as we said, it is useful in various places. It is used for making curtains, socks, toothbrush, we have bristles, right? It is also made up of nylon. And then sleeping bags, tents and fishing nets also even made up of nylon. It will be used for a very long period of time, but it will not worn out. And then parachutes are made up of the nylon material. Sportswear and strings of badminton or rocket, when you see, you will be having strings in it, isn't it? Yes, the part at which you strike the thing. Fine. So that strings even made up of nylon alone. And then car seat belts. When we drive the car, for our safety, we will namely wear that seat belt, isn't it? So that seat belt even, it is made up of nylon. Fine. So now we have finished seeing about nylon. Now we are going to see about another synthetic fiber, namely rayon. What is the name of the second synthetic fiber we are going to see? Rayon. Right. Rayon, we have actually three names, ma. What are all that? Rayon is known as artificial silk. Rayon is known as semi-synthetic fiber, or we can call it as regenerated fiber. So we have three names for rayon. One more time. It is known as artificial silk. It is known as semi-synthetic fiber. It is also known as a regenerated fiber. We will see why we have given this much names. Rayon, basically, it will shine like anything and it will resemble silk. Silk means not the natural silk. The natural silk, as we already saw, it is obtained from the silkworms. So, rayon, this is a synthetic fiber, but which will resemble the natural silk. But this is not natural, which we prepare namely artificially, right? So rayon is also referred to as artificial silk since it possesses the properties of natural silk, right? It is manufactured, again we know synthetic fibers are made from the petrochemicals, isn't it? But rayon, we are using chemicals, but the major ingredient in preparing rayon is a natural one, namely the cellulose material which is taken from the wood pulp. So the wood pulp is taken, which is processed, and then chemicals are added to get this artificial silk called rayon. So though it is a synthetic fiber, the major ingredient is from the natural source. So cellulose, which is obtained from the wood pulp, right? Since rayon is man-made fiber, which is obtained from a natural source, namely natural polymer, we said, nothing but cellulose. What is that natural fiber? Cellulose, right? So we get rayon from the natural polymer cellulose. We process it with the help of chemicals. So that is why it is called as artificial silk. Now we will see about types of rayon. Just we can know the names alone. Viscose rayon, cupramonium rayon and acetate rayon. Right. Now we will see the properties of rayon. What are all the properties are possessed by rayon? As we already said, it will resemble silk, natural silk. So it has again the property called luster. So luster property it has. So we can say rayon is lustrous and resembles silk. And it is highly absorbent, not like nylon. Not like nylon. Because nylon will not absorb that much water. Okay, but this rayon is highly absorbent, so it will absorb the water and then does not insulate body heat, thereby keeping the body cool. So does not insulate the body heat means what? When we wear some kind of garments, we will feel sweating and we will feel hot. Why? Because that cloth material will not allow the body heat radiate from your body to the environment. But rayon is not like that. When you wear the garments which is made up of rayon, it will allow the body heat to move out. So it will not insulate it. So you will feel cool always. And then that is why it is a preferred summer fabric. So in summer we can use it. So we can say rayon is a preferred summer fabric like natural cotton material. Namely in summer we will use cotton, isn't it? Cotton is a natural fiber. But rayon also we can prefer for summer. So it's a preferred summer fabric but synthetic fiber. Right. And it is soft, comfortable and drapes well. So when you wear it, you will feel very comfortable, you will feel fit. So we can say it drapes well. And uses of rayon. What are the uses? Rayon is used either alone or mixed with other fibers. So rayon can be used alone or else mixed with some other fibers to make a new blend of material that can be used for various purposes. Right. So usually it will be mixed with the two natural fibers even, namely cotton and then wool. So when rayon is mixed with the cotton, it is useful to make shirts, dresses, ties, the collar ties, and then home furnishings, many materials. When this rayon is mixed with the wool, we can make carpets. See, in this picture you could see a carpet, isn't it? Which is made up of namely a material which is nothing but a blend of rayon with wool. Right. Now you could see the pictures which are showing the uses of rayon. So we have many materials, namely the cords of wheel, and then the shawls, the bags, like this jerkins, everything is made up of rayon. Fine. So in the session we have seen what and all we have seen. We can see a recap about fibers we have seen, and the classification of fibers we have seen, namely natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural means, example we can say cotton, wool, jute, etc. Synthetic means what? Synthetic means something which we prepare in the lab, man-made. Man-made fibers which are made from the petrochemicals like coal, petroleum and natural gas. And about synthetic fibers we have seen two examples, namely nylon and rayon. And we have seen the properties, preparation and uses. Everything we have completed for nylon and rayon. Right. Now let me tell you about writing the CW. Right. You will be receiving 6 notebooks which are one side ruled. Fine. So 3 for CWs and 3 for HWs. That is 1 notebook for physics and chemistry 1 and biology 1. Okay. And then 1 for HW like the same. So you can start writing the CW. At the end of the session you will be getting a link in which what you should write in the CW will be mentioned there. So I hope you all have enjoyed the session. So thank you.